Yo, stop fronting and use your head.
Uncle J, undercover cop, looking motherfucker, stop, patrol the rap block, cock, rock, K-funk, let the beat drop, stick and fork in me, uncork the wine, pork chop, hip-hop, you know I got crazy inspiration, don't tase me, bro, no college education, falls to the wall, just accept imagination, dragging on a spliff lift, my mind's elevation.
It's me playing, getting cut like an abrasion, standing adjacent, getting so wasted. I got street smarts, don't need nobody's help. I got problems, but I handle them all by myself. I never flip, I just dip till the shit passes. And I'm laughing at you dirty asses, sick like the masses. 2020 was a shit passes, and if you don't agree, you need glasses. Glasses.
Let me slow it down. I thread the needle for these sheeple using my pen as a method for some non-lethal force. To demonstrate my course, word from the mouth of the horse. Barrel racing in reverse is just another verse from original source. Now cut the chords like divorce. When the flow starts to hurt on your heart, I pierce your ears and use pitchforks. Hold this ball and chain while I push 600 pounds of torque.
You got it, break it, get up. What?
Yeah, check it out.
Get your Back the focus from this token poet smoking in the bonus stage with the haze that ablaze down to roaches, calming my neurosis. I'm the poster child, took a while, but I'm cleaning house like reverse osmosis. Type 1 diagnosis says you're bogus and your daddy's got psychosis. That is loaded with one atrocious motive to rock the hocus pocus and to leave the slowest in a state of hypnosis. That's so lame and they fucking know it.
I'm a classy awesomeness. Getting smoke from me is like a fucking death wish, and I'm awesome just like Charles Bronson with no option. Seek and destroy, I made no one stop it. You tried to bury me, but forgot I was a seed. I flow like water now, no one I'ma grow some green. We're like a dying breed, like poetry, keep up the fight. Rage against the dying of the light.
Give me the mic, I'm already semi-hard, steady the ship, whip a snare into shape with hits that'll break your wrist. Let me explain how I'm the ace of spades, taught at large on a train of vein. You're clashing like joy and pain, passion for rational thought, caught between national plots that got people divided. Whether you like it or not, you need to stop, dream on. You're not the cream of the crop. It seems the provided information is not what you got.
You got it, break it, get up. What?
Yeah, check it out.
Get your beat planning. I know you know this beat will get the best of me. I pop it off like ecstasy, I top it off with extra re. You know I'm getting high, ride to see the sky. But it's time to fly, dropping all the shipment flight. I'm dropping bars like Tetris, leaving you a bloody lesson. You wanna start the test and step up and be the next contestant in the drama center. Mind your wounds and come back better. Cause what doesn't kill you, son, it makes you just a little stranger.
Call me Johnny Danger with a scent of forest stranger, marked as a major entertainer on the worldwide endangered list. Catch my drift, bend your wrist, light a split, take a whiff of my gift. It's a script, just admit I'm well equipped to stay consistent. You're non-existent. In an instant, I rewrite the system without assistance. Just a pen and paper as equipment to note the distance that I'm spit.
I'm an aggressive pacifist with an activist for an activist. Like a since birth, track my record if you insist. Check one off the list. It's Uncle J, another sis. Twisted Mr. Record Shop. Sick of the wicked up with your sister. Stop, I'm mopping floors with MCs. I'm sick and I'm so tired dealing with your fees. I'm the fucking road runner BP, and you're the coyote.
You got it, break it, get up. What?
Yeah, check it out.
Get your
Uncle J, undercover, Uncle.
It's me playing on the mic, funky like garbage cans. Who the man?
You're the man! You're the fucking man!
Yeah, damn right, take your flight, Buddha bless, so nice. If being awesome is wrong, I don't wanna be right.
I get frisky on the whiskey, but I'm none the wiser. I go all day, baby, like the Energizer Bunny, you don't have to hate. Step my funk, my dick's a to which birds migrate.
I'm a lethal weapon. You can try to kill me off, but you be just like Damon Wayans, looking for a new job. Hip-hop is not your stuff, you're a veggie kebab. Compared to us, we're the meat and the tzatziki sauce.
If you're asking what I do, drums, I'm killing. Scum from Mars, penis, and Venus, warm up to chillin'. Fire starter, warning signs, spill it, be a genius. In the grotto with some models, all of them agreeing that.
We play Chasso, DJ Busto.
Beware, Jocelyn, in Buffalo. Beware, Jocelyn, in Buffalo. Beware, Jocelyn, in Buffalo. And now we back shit with our foot in the door. You can't stop this like rat shit. Crazy whores, you ain't on a level. You ain't even close, your flow's froze. Be in the penthouse, you ain't made it to the third floor. I can be in irrelevant sleaze with relative ease. Does my style make me a rebel like James Dean? Does my enlightenment prevent me from staying clean? Are you dirty and mean? Did you learn it from me? I'm such a sick MC. They call me mentally challenged. I'm imbalanced, tip in the scale like wait. Watch us when they eat a pallet of food. Don't mean to be rude, but I got a face like Ron Jimmy when he's shooting his goo. Correct, check the baseline, the heck with my waistline. I'm spilling beers and kicking rhymes at the same time. I crack a cold one and let myself go, just like Robert Downey Jr. in a room full of blow. Yo!
Hello and welcome to Creative Chaos number 9. My name is Christy McKenzie and I am co-owner and publisher of Flip City Magazine. Hello to everybody that's out there. I wanted to give a giant thank you to Anger Bang. That was our opening band for tonight, and I saw them pop into the chat over on Pilled. So what's up, Anger Bang? Thank you for the awesome intro. And just to let you know, we are closing out the stream tonight with your newest song. So I'm excited about that. So Creative Chaos, every week, Flip City Magazine interviews fascinating people creating fascinating things outside the mainstream. And we speak with the real culture warriors, the individuals that are actually building up the parallel society and economies instead of just resting on their laurels and watching and complaining that our mainstream culture is terrible. And we are going to get into our housekeeping. It's super short. I need to learn how, and you know what, Cosmic, I'm not sure if I even wrote that in there, but I'm sure you have our housekeeping standard.
Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
I come in anyway?
No, go away.
I come in anyway.
All right. So as always, Flip City Creative Chaos is kind of a sideshow of Flip City Magazine. And it is, of course, brought to you by Flip City Magazine. And I saw something this week on the internet by Roseanne Barr. I freaking love her. She is crazy and hilarious. And it kind of I think ties in to the Flip City mission. So if we can bring that up.
I hate that people call me a conservative. Get that off. I mean, I know that that's like the thing everybody wants to call me, but you know what? I'm a radical constitutionalist. Forget conservative. I'm a radical based constitutionalist. And so what we all need to be that, not conservatives anymore. We need to be radical root. Well, you know, when a Satanist says the word conservative, people are visioning hateful people with pyres and burning sticks and KKK hoods. That's what they're visioning, because they train their minds to do that. So we're none of that. We're actually the people who are we're the big tent. We're of every color, including Jews.
And, you know, Roseanne makes an awesome point, and it correlates with the Flip City mission and our purpose. Flip City was created in 2020 by myself and my husband to aid in the movement back towards radical freedom of expression. I mean, isn't that crazy? Freedom of expression in the United States is now radical, along with freedom of the press. So we chose to make this physical magazine because without an actual press, the message is lost in the oppressive digital void. Plus, being provocative online is nothing. It's everywhere. But we bring that same sentiment out into the daylight of the real world, and it packs a wallop to the wannabe tyrants and their useful idiots. So we'd love you to join the radically fun and freedom-loving family available to the free world with a subscription to Flip City Magazine. Go to flipcitymag.com. Pick yourself up a subscription, and with any purchase of any back issue, you get a free tinfoil hat with it. So, and it says place on head before reading. I think that's very important. We want to keep you safe. So go to flipcitymag.com. You could even check out a free magazine if you don't trust us that we're as funny as we say, and take it for a test spin. I believe it's far past time to be radical. So support the free press, have some laughs while doing it, own it and be happy. There's a novel concept. Go to flipcitymag.com. It's America's last laugh. All right, let's bring in my sidekick, Batman. Hey, Batman. You're muted.
Hello, Christy. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't call me Christy Mack tonight, because you have branded me that.
Yes, I have. You are Christy Mack to me, and your husband is Scotty Mack to me. So yes, Christy Mack.
It works for me. You know, call me whatever you want, just not late for dinner.
There you go. Well, usually you're the one cooking dinner, because every time I wind up calling you, you seem to be in the kitchen.
You know, it's really funny because I actually was cooking dinner, and I had my phone plugged in tonight here in my office, and I heard the phone ring, and I'm like, damn it, Batman. But it wasn't you. It was a collector. It was a collector. They wanted their damn money.
Yeah, I texted you, but I didn't call you.
Okay, cool. You know, I didn't even notice that you texted me. But
it's okay.
You know, I thought, me personally, I loved that Roseanne quote. I felt like it went viral because it came across feeds across my different social media. And I'm like, dude, that is perfect. Because me personally, I've been kind of trying to rebrand the whole conservative thing, because she's completely right. At least I think she is. You know, that's
100%.
That's
100%.
the image that's been forced into the public mindset is, you know, the burning sticks. That cracked me up. We're there with our burning sticks and our pitchforks.
You know, it's funny because being Jewish myself, when I first found out Roseanne was Jewish, I was in heaven. I was like, oh my God, she's a Mott. We call them Motts, member of the tribe. And she speaks like a truck driver, but she tells truths and drops truth bombs all the time. And she's funny to listen to. She's educational. And she doesn't pull punches, which is something I appreciate. You know, she tells it like it is.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And, and I think that's what's kept her relevant is she kind of wasn't trapped by the entertainment industry. It's kind of like I have this I have this vision of what it's like to, work in the entertainment industry, and you actually have a choice to go along with the narrative and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff so that you can
you
boost your
do.
own profile and get work and all that kind of stuff. Um,
Yes.
but if you raise to a certain level of popularity, like Roseanne, then you can kind of split off and kind of be indie and kind of keep your soul.
And I think she's definitely been able to do that. And I'm not one to I don't like labels because labels pigeonhole people to certain things. And in the form of labeling, as she's talking about, that we're not conservatives, we're constitutionalists. And I love that fact because I belong to several constitutional groups. I belong to a local constitutional group out here on Long Island. I belong to a national organization called Tactical Civics, which is all about the Constitution. And I belong to the John Birch Society, which is all about the Constitution. So it's amazing that, she used the term constitutionalist, and that we need to be, what did she say? Not aggressive,
A radical.
radical,
Yeah.
radical constitutionalists. And
It's
that's, I agree,
It is true, but
100%.
that's
I
the
am a
thing. It
radical.
should, well, yeah, I'll do that too. I swear, I am a radical as well, and that's freaking ridiculous in the United States of America. All right, cool. Well, I'm glad to see that we are on the same page with Roseanne Barr. I swear, my goal this year is to get an interview with her to be printed in Flip City Magazine. So I am already on that path. I found an email for her, so
Nice.
I'll be pounding down her door every day.
There you go.
All right, I just want to take a sec and say what is up to people who happen to pop into our chat. So, like I said, yes, Anger Bang is here if you're still there. Wild Irish Rose over on Build, what is up, girl? And she said she's popping in to help share ya out. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That is what we need. We need more shares, right, Batman?
Absolutely.
All right. And then you also popped into the chat over there on pilled.net. And I just see my friend Media Bear popped in to give us the hang loose sign. Media Bear, I think he gets notified every time we do a stream because I tag him in the description because he made the song for one of our stingers. So thank you so much, Media Bear, aka Dr. Clown. And as usual, does not look like anybody over on Rumble or Odyssey are brave enough to say what is up, but that is okay. I don't know if anybody's watching us. I don't have enough CPU power to keep the actual stream up on every one of those to see how many people are watching. So I would love to introduce our guest tonight, and I'm going to read him in here. So we've got Al Nickerson, and he's a Christian. He is the comic book self-publisher of Sword of Eden graphic novel. Wait, I'm sorry, I skipped a line. Yeah, Sword of Eden graphic novel. He was a comic book artist for DC Comics and Archie Comic. Why am I having such a hard time reading this? DC Comics and Archie Comic Publications. Al also worked for Marvel Comics and Warp Graphics. He has been a designer and animator for Sesame Street, MTV Animation, Nickelodeon. And Al is, but I think it's was now, a professor at Sunny Orange, where he teaches sequential art, comics illustration, a class on creating comic books and comic strips. So let's bring in Al. And I've got to say, Al, I think you were trolling with that Trump 2024 pin.
What's trolling?
Yeah, come on. You know what trolling is.
Maybe a little.
Don't play dumb. So hello and welcome to Creative Chaos. Thank you so much for coming and spending an hour with us.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
All right. And I really super apologize for butchering your intro.
No, it was fine. Thank you.
All right, cool. So what I would love is, because I from what I gather from doing research on your Sword of Eden, which I do not own, so I don't know much about the story, but I've seen your art and everything that you have in there. Can you just kind of give us an elevator pitch about what Sword of Eden is?
The Sword of Eden starts off with a young girl who begins her first day as a superhero, and she ends up teaming up with other superheroes who are trying to find the sword that the cherubs use to keep people out of the Garden of Eden after God had cast Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden. So the heroes are looking for the sword because they think it's a very powerful weapon, and that there are these demons who do not want the heroes to find the sword because the demons do not want people to realize that or have more proof that God exists. So there's the conflict. So our heroes are looking for the sword from the Sword of Eden. The demons are trying to stop them. And then a whole bunch of crazy superhero action ensues. So, and then, yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So the Sword of Eden, it's a 220-page graphic novel. It's about, it's 3 stories, but it's dealing with the same characters and how they move on from the original story. So there's the Sword of Eden portion of the book. There's the Return of the Green Knight, which was a character from Arthurian literature. And then there's the Ark, which is the third part of the story, where our heroes go to search for Noah's Ark.
Okay, so as far as where you're at in Sword of Eden, are all the graphic novels completed and up on your website?
Just the first one's done and printed and is being sold to readers and directly to comic book stores and bookstores and anyone else who would like to buy a copy. So I'm working on the second volume, which should be printed sometime in the summer.
All right, excellent. Well, I was actually very curious about you working in the mainstream with DC and Marvel and MTV, and you have quite an extensive list of credits. So I kind of wanted to ask you who, as far as working within the mainstream, who was your favorite people that you worked with and least favorite?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. I look on my career as, so I think God has very much blessed my career, and I was able to work with all the different publishers and networks and studios that I really wanted to work with. And to answer your question, I think DC Comics probably treated me the best. They paid me the most. They gave me the best page rate, and DC returned my artwork, which made me very happy. DC initially would pay me my royalties on time, which also made me happy. I had a bit of a problem with that in recent years with DC trying to pay me royalties on work that they reprinted. Yeah, so DC was fine. So I worked for DC Comics for 8.5 years, and I was working for Archie Comics for most of that time as well. So I was working for both Archie and DC Comics at the same time. So yeah, DC was really good. They were very flattering. Not many publishers, comic book publishers, tend to be very flattering, but DC Comics was. And I liked DC, and DC was fun. I don't think I could ever go back to working for a publisher ever again. I don't think I could ever go back to working with an editor who is trying to tell me how to write and draw my own work. So yeah, I don't think I could do that ever again. But yeah, DC was fine.
Yeah. So as far as working, let's just focus on DC right now. So as far as working with an editor and a publisher and getting feedback and being edited in your artwork, did that happen much with DC?
I never had any problems, but also I was working, it was work made for hire. So I was working on their properties. I wasn't doing any creator owned work. So I was just, working on Justice League, Unlimited, a lot of the Cartoon Network books, Crypto, the Superdog, stuff like that. So I didn't own the property. So yeah, I just did whatever they asked me to do. And yeah, I never had any problems editorially with DC at all. I don't think I actually had any real problems with any editor at any of the publishers I worked with. So yeah.
Well, that's good for you. I guess God's hand was on it. And let's hear what Batman has to say.
I just wanted to ask you, who was the editor-in-chief at the time? Who were you working under?
During my 8.5 years at DC Comics, I had 4 editors. So the guy who hired me was Dan Raspler. So he was also editing the Justice League, the JLA Avengers crossover at the same time. And then, and he was great. I had no problems with Dan, and Dan was fine, and he hired me, and he asked me what my page rate was at Marvel, and I told him, and then he paid me more. So that was nice. And, and Dan had some problems. So he was fired. And then his assistant editor, Steve Wacker, became my editor. But then he left DC and he went over to Marvel to be an editor on the Spider-Man books. So Joan Hilty became my editor, and she was fine. And then she went over to Vertigo. And then her assistant, Rachel Gluckstern, became my editor. And Rachel was great. And then they moved everybody from Manhattan over to Burbank, California. And yeah, that was the end of that. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so you actually have to go into their studio to do your work. Are you working full time for them? I'm totally outing myself. I have no idea how the industry works.
When you write and draw for these publishers, you're a contractor. You're self-employed. You usually work at home. You don't work in a studio. You don't get medical benefits. You don't get unemployment or anything like that. At the time when I was working for DC, I was living in Jersey City. So, and even when I was working for Marvel, I was living in Jersey City, so I could easily head on over to Marvel or DC and drop off work if I wanted to. The thing is that Marvel and DC started in Manhattan, and when DC Entertainment started getting a lot more power, they wanted the publishing side, DC Comics, to move out to Burbank. So a lot of I wouldn't say a lot of the editors, but some of the editors at DC did not want to move from New York to Burbank, California. And Rachel Gluckstern, my editor at the time, was one of those people.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But even now, I don't even think DC Comics in Burbank, they even have offices anymore. DC Comics is doing quite poorly right now, so I don't even think they have offices.
Well, I'm sure COVID was a good excuse to say everybody can work from home.
Oh, or everybody should stay in your house or get sick and die.
Right. Completely understandable. All right. Well, that is all very good to hear. So who was the last kind of mainstream work for hire thing that you worked for, and how did you kind of get into self-publishing and doing your own stuff?
Well, I was actually doing some self-publishing and working on creator-owned work while working for Marvel and DC and Archie. And I was doing some creator-owned work that was published by other publishers, which was fun. And me and some friends self-published a couple of books during those days as well, which was fun. The last 2 publishers I worked for were DC Comics and Archie, and that pretty much ended around 2010. And that's when I started teaching as well. And that's when I started kind of thinking about doing something like the Sword of Eden. Kind of had it working around in my head a little. Started working out some ideas, and that's kind of where it all came from.
Okay, perfect. Well, you segued perfectly into my next question, which is in your bio, you have is a professor at Sunny Orange, but I know just kind of from previous conversations that we've had online, it seems like you were kind of somewhat canceled-ish, but in a really mealy-mouthed weird way from being a professor. Can you just kind of tell us the story of what happened there?
Well, yeah. So I was teaching at SUNY Orange, the State University of New York. So they have colleges across the state. SUNY tends to be very liberal. SUNY Orange was certainly very liberal. And I taught there for 10 years. I taught a class that I created called Sequential Art Comics Illustration. I taught Design 2, and I taught Intro to Art. And I love being in the classroom. And I had, a lot of freedom. I didn't have, management come down on me too much, except for that I am a Christian. I am very conservative. And I don't think liberal colleges want faculty members who are Christian and conservative. So it's kind of a long story, but essentially the last semester I taught there, the spring of 2020, I was asked to meet with the human resources department, and they said it was for one other reason, which it really wasn't, but they scolded me for including the name of Jesus and Bible verses in my emails when I would use my college email. So they didn't like that too much. They didn't say anything about that in any follow-up emails. They didn't document any of that. That's what they told me. They said it was unprofessional. I couldn't do it anymore. I refused. I had to remind them of my First Amendment rights of freedom of religion and freedom of speech. And they kind of dragged me along for a couple of years, and they kept not running my class, although the class is still part of the student course catalog. So students can sign up for the class, but they won't run the class. And they didn't let me teach the class, and they didn't let anybody teach the class the last couple of years. So they never fired me. They never gave me a letter of termination or anything. And then I went into the office one day and noticed some of my things were gone. So I emailed the college president. I emailed the chancellor of SUNY and just inquiring, where is my personal belongings? And if you wanted me to move the stuff, let me know. You should have let me know, and then I would have moved my things.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then they said you need to turn in your keys and your badge and all that stuff. But they never said I was fired. And then,
right. So the way I envision this is like an in-person shadow ban, which I've never heard of before.
Yeah, they didn't come out and say anything about that sort of stuff. I think because they know legally they couldn't do those things. They can't tell somebody to stop being a Christian. They can't tell somebody they can't use the name of Jesus in an email. I mean, Thomas Jefferson, when he was president, he wrote, when he would finish writing a letter, he would write, "In Christ Jesus, Thomas Jefferson." And that's what I would do. And I told human resources at SUNY Orange that if that was good for Thomas Jefferson, then that's good for anyone else who feels inclined to do the same thing. But yeah, they were very adversarial and not very nice people. So yeah, that wasn't very pleasant. I kind of wish they were just being honest with me and just say you're fired or send me a letter. But so they asked me.
Well, you know why they didn't, though. I mean, they couldn't be held liable for violating your civil rights.
Absolutely. Yes, that's true. And I did not return my keys. I did not return my badge. I did not do any of that stuff because they didn't fire me. They didn't send me a letter of termination. And they still have my class offered, but they don't run it. And then they replace me with somebody else. So.
Well, and that's the thing. I am curious, like how are they able to even like include the class in the catalog where students can sign up for it? So what happens? Like the students sign up and then like they're like, oh, sorry, that class was canceled at the last second.
Correct.
So cringe and infuriating.
Yep.
Were you able to contain your anger?
I wasn't angry. I mean, I knew this was going to happen someday. And the college tries to promote the idea of being diverse and inclusive. and tolerant, but they are not those things. And I don't think most liberal colleges are like that either. They're only inclusive and tolerant and diverse when you agree with them. And when you don't agree with them, then yeah, you're out the door. And also, I had a bit of a debate with my department chair. I really don't want to stay on this topic too long, but yeah, I went into the office when I was teaching there, and she was complaining about Donald Trump. Trump was president. She was complaining about Trump and how terrible he was, and how whenever she heard Trump's name, she would get all angry and her stomach would hurt and she would be all upset. And I said, well, whenever I hear Donald Trump's name, I get all warm and fuzzy on the inside. It's wonderful. And then she's like, we're not talking about this anymore. So yeah, so that was the end of that. So yeah, but my students were great, and I loved being in the classroom. And yeah, and my sequential art class, it was not a requirement. So the students who took that class took it because they wanted to take that class, and they were great, and it was wonderful. And I was able to teach on a topic that I love, and in a field in which I work. So yeah, teaching was great.
All right, excellent. Now, hey, Batman, you and Al were talking backstage about something that it's totally escaped my mind, but I was listening and really enjoying the conversation. And I thought that would be something to talk about live. Do you remember what that was? You're muted.
You referring to the conversation about Neil Adams and how he fought for the rights of the comic book artists?
Yes.
Well, that's a very long conversation.
Okay, never mind. Stop.
Well, no,
we're trying to keep it pithy.
Oh, all right. Well, comic book publishers have always had a long and terrible history on treating their artists and writers, and Neil was very outspoken about the return of artwork, royalties, and creators' rights. And in the late 70s, he was very helpful. He got DC Comics to return artwork. He helped out Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster when they were making the Superman movie. I would see Neil every year at the New York Comic Con. I would tell him thank you. And Batman, you said he helped out with somebody else. Bill Finger, was it? Bill Finger's daughter?
Yeah, Bill Finger's granddaughter. There is a young man who created he created a campaign to get Bill Finger recognized as one of the co-creators of Batman. And Athena, his granddaughter, mentioned to me that she had spoken to Neil Adams at great lengths because of all of this going back and forth. And this young man who created, you haven't seen it yet, have you? Because you would have said something if you did. There's actually a documentary about Batman and Bill, or Bill and Batman, or something like that. And this young man, was able to go back and do the research and found a lot of things that tied Bill Finger to the creation of Batman. And because Bob Kane's father was a lawyer, Bob Kane, had certain contracts drawn up that kind of limited who could be labeled as, creators and artists on the comic books. And Neil had some words with Athena that helped get that taken care of, that helped push that through with this young man and his documentary about Bill Finger.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Bill Finger stuff in regards to Neil, but yeah, everything you said was true. Bob Kane, his initial idea was like a kind of a Hawkman looking character. And I think it was either Bill Finger or Jerry Robinson saying, like, maybe you should turn him into a bat. And Bill Finger, yeah, he wrote all those stories. Jerry Robinson drew all those stories. Bob Kane didn't do anything, but he got all the credit. He got a great contract with DC. Bob Kane got his name on all the comics and everything, and he got a huge lot of money for doing that.
The original drawing of the Batman character was a red bodysuit and a yellow cape.
Yeah, he looked more like a bird or something, didn't he?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And if you go back in the history of comic animation, he used those exact same colors for his Batman knockoff character, Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse.
Oh, check that out.
Bob Kane did Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse in 62 or 63. Batman came out in 39, but he kept the original colors and put it into the Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse cartoons.
Yeah, Bob Kane was not a very nice person.
No, he was not. I have a lot of his art from the late 80s. I made very good friends with First Team Press, which was a New York-based company on the Canadian border, and they were they would do those giant art pieces, and he would sign a number, the first 100, and I became very close to them. They would sell me the same number print for each art piece that he did. So I have number 93, which was no significant number to me personally. I would have liked to have had something a little earlier on, 66, if I could get my hands on that and those numbers, but it was already too late for that. So 1966 being the year that Adam West did Batman, which is where I come from, that era. But Bob Kane would sign these art pieces, and I bought the first 7 of them that came out. And unfortunately, they're still in storage somewhere. Haven't looked at them in decades. But once the Bill Finger story came out, and then you look back at the art that Bill Finger did, and you look at the art that Bob Kane did, and you realize that Bill Finger did most of the work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, people should watch that documentary, Batman and Me, or Batman and Bill.
Batman and Bill.
Right.
Batman, I think it's Batman and Bill.
Right. Because a lot of people don't know this story. They don't know who really created a lot of these characters. They don't know about Bill Finger or Jerry Robinson.
Jerry Robinson came later, but Bill Finger helped create, and he was the one that recommended. He's the one who took the inspiration from the black and white movie The Bat, that created the Batman motif and the costume with the wings, turning the bird wings into bat wings. And I believe it was Jerry Robinson who used The Man Who Laughed movie art to create the Joker.
Right. Jerry Robinson created the Joker, and I think he created Robin too, didn't he?
Yes, I believe you're right. He also was the artist behind most of the Batcave. Jerry Robinson did a lot of the artwork for the Batcave originally.
Wow. Hey, so I'm feeling like I've been very mansplained to already, and we haven't even gotten into the mansplain segment. Thank you so much, Batman.
You're welcome.
Hey, so just to let Nick know, we are in the segment now called Mansplain, because I just have a little girl brain. I need to be mansplain something, and I found something to be very fascinating in what you sent over for me as far as promotionals go, and that was that I see you are actually an independent artist that has landed himself on physical shelves. And it seems really hard for many independent creators to make that happen for themselves. So can you explain to me how that happened and how you were to made that happen?
Well, it wasn't easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of networking. Social media is very helpful. I did have Diamond distribute the book to comic book stores early on. I had christianbook.com distribute and sell the graphic novel as well. And then christianbook.com sold out. But Diamond, and I was very thankful that Diamond actually did distribute the book to comic book stores. The problem is that I don't think Diamond cares too much about reorders for small press books. So then I had to work directly with comic book stores myself. And so I have an email list of comic book retailers, and I reach out to comic book retailers and bookstores and Christian bookstores through Facebook. And I just, share a link I have on Facebook of my artwork from the book and what the book's about and how much it costs and how much I'm only willing to sell the book to them. And they've been very wonderful. So I just sent some books out yesterday to New Dimension Comics, they have stores in Pennsylvania and one in Ohio. A few days before that, I sold some books to Fat Moose Comics in Jersey. And a few days before that, I sold some books to a store in California. So yeah, working directly with retailers is very important. And I think especially if you're doing creator-owned work, if you're self-publishing, you should work directly with retailers. You get more money by not having a distributor and just shipping the books yourself. Retailers get more money as well. And if you're self-publishing your own book, you can sign your own books, and that is valuable. Your signature is very valuable. And you shouldn't have to wait on gatekeepers. And I think recently I've come to the idea that distributors themselves are gatekeepers, because if you can't go through a certain distributor, then what do you do? So you should work directly with retailers.
That's really interesting, because I think I've been, and I don't think, I know I have been doing a lot of research into distribution. Now we're a little bit of a different thing because we're doing a periodical, of course, so we have to go through the periodical distribution thing. And one of the craziest things that I learned as far as periodicals go, and if you want to go national, there are only 2 distributors that you can work through. And getting onto newsstands, the golden brass ring that you're supposed to reach for is getting into Barnes and Noble. So basically, if you can't get into Barnes and Noble, no other chain retailers are going to accept you onto their shelves, because they want to see what kind of numbers you did at Barnes and Noble and all that kind of stuff. So I have been also doing, and I'm so happy to have met you and see what you're doing on Facebook as far as building your own relationships and becoming your own distributor to get into comic book stores, or a niche, anybody that's going to carry your stuff, really.
Yeah, well, I have a question. So with the newsstand distribution, are they returnable? Are those?
No, it is whatever you don't sell is destroyed.
Oh, so they don't send it back?
No. Anything, basically, that's with magazine printing, because and I'm sure it's kind of the same with books. We haven't printed a book yet. I'm sure the per piece rate goes down the higher of the number that you print with books. So same thing with magazines. And I would think maybe we're a little bit cheaper than like a paperback book, but probably not as cheap as a floppy, because we have a higher page count and all that kind of stuff. But I have found in publishing this magazine and kind of like networking within the crowdfunding independent space, it's been really fun to see what people are doing to market themselves, and also kind of build relationships with retailers to cut out the middleman of distribution. And I've heard a lot of crap about Diamond, so I'm kind of interested to know more about how you've worked with Diamond.
Well, here's a couple of things. So in the old days, when they would distribute comic books to newsstands, whatever comics they didn't sell, they could return those, or they would rip the cover off, or the rip off half the cover, and then they would destroy them. But you didn't get paid for those books. So in the direct market with comic book stores now, with retailers and the direct market, whatever they buy, it's not returnable. So that helps out publishers, which is good for publishers. Diamond, yeah, I've dealt with Diamond before with a couple other comics I had self-published. When I first printed The Sword of Eden, I think Diamond still had Marvel and DC as their clients. So Diamond passed on The Sword of Eden. It's a self-published book. It's small press. They want to deal with Marvel and DC. So then I heard, Marvel and DC pretty much left Diamond. So I reached out to Diamond again. I'm like, hey, listen, so you lost these 2 publishers. Would you want to take another look at The Sword of Eden? And they did, and I'm very thankful. And that worked out fine. But yeah, it's weird. I don't think people should not try to work through some sort of distributor, but don't let that be the end all be all of everything. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
That's actually really good advice. Like, go ahead and see what you can make happen as far as wide of distribution as you can get.
Yep.
And don't be discouraged even. Yeah, really great advice, because that the whole diamond thing, like just watching other people within the indie space trying to get in through diamond and then talking crap, saying it so it's impossible. It's kind of demoralizing for somebody that's like, I can spend my time doing this, like kind of building out my own networking and trying to like self distribute, or I can spend all this time ticking off all the boxes that Diamond wants you to tick off to see if they will accept you. So thank you for that. Actually, you boosted my morale.
You're very welcome. See that I think the advice goes along the same lines for, yes, working with distributors or publishers or editors or whomever. And if things don't work out, you shouldn't let that stop you from doing what you want to do. If you can't get a distributor, then just distribute your work yourself. I fully support creator-owned work. I think people should just write and draw their own stuff and self-publish and work with, directly with retailers or fans and readers. There's, get on Amazon, get on eBay, get on social media, sell directly to your readers. And it's great because it's a really bad time for a lot of these comic book stores now because Marvel and DC Comics don't sell well. So now it's a great opportunity for self-publishers and creator-owned people. And
good point. Yeah, no, fantastic point. And I've kind of felt that same way, like with Marvel and DC and their DIE. I do not say DEI because die programs really are killing the mainstream. It almost seems like on purpose to me, but they hate the fans or all that kind of good stuff. It really is the golden age, the prime time for indies to just grab what is left over. Would you agree with that sentiment?
I absolutely agree. I don't care what happens to Marvel and DC Comics. If they crash and burn, that's fine. I just feel bad for retailers that rely on that. So a lot of these retailers have to pivot and sell, back issues, action figures, game stuff, trading cards. Yeah, if retailers have to pivot, then they have to pivot. But yeah, they should be more. A lot of the retailers I'm working with in regards to the Sword of Eden have been great, and they've been supportive. And I sign all the books. I throw in limited edition prints to sign. I sign those as well. And I still have copies of comics I worked on for Marvel and DC and Archie, and I sign a couple of those, and I include that in the box as well because I don't really care about that stuff. But maybe they could sell that stuff too, make a couple extra bucks. So I think, it's very important to work with retailers. So so some months ago, I wrote an open letter to retailers about, this sort of stuff. And I sent the letter to a lot of different comic book retailers, and most of them were very positive. I had one retailer get upset with me, saying that they said, you shouldn't start off an email letting people know that their business is going out of business. And it was insane. And then they were like, don't email us ever again. And then like 2 days later, they sent me another email. So I didn't respond either time after that. But Phil Boyle of Coliseum of Comics down in Florida, like 2 months ago, wrote a letter about the industry and how, retailers are probably going to go out of business in 2 years. And I reached out to Phil, and he owns like 10 stores down in Florida. And he bought like 10 copies of the Sword of Eden as well. And he was great. And I told him, I'm like, listen, self-publishers and creator-owned people should work with retailers, and retailers are not our enemy. Our readers are not our enemy. So work directly with retailers, work directly with your readers, send stuff directly to your readers. And it's great. It's a great opportunity. So, and don't let gatekeepers stop you from doing what you want to do. Don't put the power into other people's hands of what you're going to do with your life. This is insane. And the less amount of people that you have to answer to in your life is the best. And the less amount of people you have to go through, from getting your work into the hands of your readers, the better off you are.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad I picked that question to ask you for Mansplain. And you did a great job. And
Well, thank you, but it sounds like you already knew that too. So, but thank you.
Well, no, I mean, I guess I kind of knew it, but I need morale building once in a while because being an independent, and we've been doing this for 4 years now, I have run into so many brick walls that I've been bloodied, in the indie space. So, I get a little, nervous about doing certain things. So for me personally, just hearing you kind of feed back to me what I thought was the case, just kind of encourages me to keep trying.
Well, there are people in comics that I've learned from, and I just want to mention Dave Sim of Cerebus. And Dave was always very outspoken about creators' rights and self-publishing. I learned a lot from him and Steve Bissett and Scott McCloud, but Dave was great, and Dave is still great, and he's very supportive of the Sword of Eden, and he's working on a graphic novel about the strange death of Alex Raymond. So, but Dave has been an inspiration for me, and yeah, he was great. So if anybody wants to self-publish, Dave published a book called The Cerebus Guide to Self-Publishing. So if anyone's interested in self-publishing, you should pick that up. But I do understand, and I say this a lot too, is that a lot of artists, especially young artists, they don't want to think about the business side of things. They don't want to think about, distributors and retailers and stuff. They just want to draw, and I can understand that. But if you don't understand the business side of things in any form of entertainment and working in entertainment, you're not going to survive. You're not going to succeed. So you should understand the business side of things.
Yeah, a really great piece of advice. And that is me. That's kind of my job as far as our publication goes is, and my husband knows it, but I do remind him how lucky he is to have me to do the business side, because he does get to focus on the creative and working with our artists and other writers and all that kind of good stuff. So, yeah, I'm great. Just to let you know, Al, I'm great.
Sounds like it. Thank you.
Hey, and I just wanted to shout out real quick, whoever is in our chats. I see Good Stuff came over and popped in over on YouTube. And why? Oh, it's Good Stuff. I just met you over on Twitter over the last couple of weeks, and we will be exchanging streams. So I'm looking forward to that. And then over on Pilled, has anybody else new checked in? Nope, just Anger Bang still there. And I don't see that anybody over on Rumble or Odyssey has said what is up. I'd really like more people to watch this stream because I think we're doing a good thing, giving indies some attention. Regardless if I get anybody watching or not, I really love the networking aspect of this and meeting other really cool people. And so thank you, Al, so much for coming on my show. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun so far.
So far, you haven't kicked me off yet, so thank you.
Okay, good. Well, we are actually getting into our next segment, which is called Creative Chaos Conspiracy Corner.
I wanna live with a conspiracy girl. I could be prepping the rest of my life with a conspiracy girl.
Those weren't even.
All right, Al, this is something I've been looking forward to all day long, ever since you sent me a DM with a video featuring Lara Logan. And me, I personally know her as the hashtag Pizzagate was real pusher all across social media, helping the topic of human trafficking go viral. It's a giant, huge topic and truly horrifying. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
I think I've learned a lot from Lara Logan in regards to the trafficking of children, and it's terrible, and it's a lot worse than I think a lot of us know. It's interesting now because my church family took a trip down somewhere in Central America to help out a orphanage of young girls who were part of sex trafficking. So our church is helping out doing that, which is great. Lara Logan was saying that there is a global satanic cult that runs the Western nations, and their thing is that they hate God, and they believe, this cult, that by hurting children they're hurting God. And I think we've been lied to about a lot of this stuff, and I think the sex trafficking of children is a lot worse than we think. And it's weird because, like, over the years, like, you hear all these weird stories, you know, Michael Jackson, the Clintons, Jeffrey Epstein and his island, and all this and the stuff with Joe Biden now, and, like, you know, flirting with little girls and everything. So I think this, you know, it's very prevalent in the lives of politicians and people in entertainment. And I think they're all evil and wicked. And yeah, I think these are the people that are controlling and running the Western countries. And they own the Democrat Party, they own the rhinos, and they hate children, and they want to groom children. I mean, you know, you look at these colleges and they're promoting gender confusion and grooming kids. And I think this has been going on for quite a long time. I think it's prevalent within our own country in regards to the politicians. And yeah, it's quite terrible and disgusting, and these people need to be taken care of.
I know what you mean by taking care of.
Well, hanging people would be fine. You know, I think that would be a good. But I think they're all evil. You hear all these stories all the time, and it's just like, even like in the 90s, you hear this stuff with you know, Bill Clinton and everything, and Epstein and his island, and the British royal family and their connections to all this kind of evil stuff. And, like, why don't people understand what's really going on? You know, you can't trust these people. They're lying to you all the time, and they're all evil. And there's also the Bohemian Grove in California, where they get together the last 2 weeks of July. It's all these politicians and entertainment people, and they're getting together, and they wear cloaks, they pray to Satan, they burn a body in effigy. And it's all even satanic. And Jesus said that the world is wicked. Jesus said that, you know, he told his disciples, if the world hates you, remember it hated me more. And it's a lot worse than we really think. And people need to wake up and stop voting for these people and supporting these people, because they don't care about you. And they're just evil, evil people.
Preaching to the choir, brother. But
amen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. I think the only way I'm able to remain empathetic to the normies that haven't woken up to this fact, and that will, like, mock and ridicule you for knowing what's going on and speaking it out freely, you know, everything you actually said a freaking mouthload in the last couple of minutes. But the only reason, like, me personally can, like, be tolerant with these people is I know a good number of these normies see the thread, but they know the second they pull that thread, their entire life worldview is going to fall apart, and they're going to have to do something.
Well,
and they're just too lazy.
Well, good. I mean, who wants to be plugged into the Matrix? Because I don't. You know,
no, I don't either. And, you know, I just put the nail in your coffin of never working in the mainstream again with that question and this going out live. How do you feel about that, Al?
Not working in the mainstream anymore?
Yeah.
Well,
and of course,
I don't want to, and they're not going to hire me ever again anyway. So I don't need them. I don't want to work with them. And, like, they, you know, if we're talking about comics, yeah, they're reading from the script. They're promoting and indoctrinating, you know, children through their crazy comics now, and they don't care about you. They don't care about the readers. They don't care about entertaining people anymore. So read and support creator owned work.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And that is, like, as far as conspiracy corner goes on this show, I would say what you just brought up and everything you just spoke of is I think the touchstone of the crazy conspiracy theorist is like, okay, listen, if you want to take my temperature on what a crazy conspiracy theorist I am, it is, I will say, I believe 99.9% that it's 99.9% probably true that the world is controlled and run by an elite satanic group of pedophiles.
Yes.
That's
I
all you
agree.
have to understand.
Yeah,
Like-
they're lying to you all the time. It's insane. They lied to us about COVID and where it came from. They lied to us about the vaccines because they're trying to kill you. They lied to us that the 2020 election was fair and done properly. They lied to us about having a secure southern border. They're lying to us about Ukraine, which, by the way, Ukraine was, a very corrupt government, which was put together and supported by...
Dude, they're literally just money laundering right in front of our faces now.
Child trafficking and money laundering and biolabs are in Ukraine. That's why they want to protect it. I've never seen Democrats in my entire life so interested in going to war with Russia. That has never happened in my entire life until now. Like, I'm not a big Russia guy. I don't support what Vladimir Putin did by, going into Crimea and into Ukraine. I don't think he should have done it. But we don't have a horse in this race, but we're giving them billions of dollars of our own money to support an evil, corrupt country where all these politicians are laundering their money and trafficking children. And how are we paying for all this stuff? And how are we paying for illegal aliens coming across our border through an open door where they're getting cell phones, debit cards, free room and board? How are we paying for all that stuff? But they didn't want to pay to secure our border and build a wall. This is all on them. And it's not just the Democrats, it's the rhinos as well. They don't care about you. They want to destroy this country. And the people and the lemmings are just following the script that they're being told.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you recognizing all this stuff and saying what you're saying, I think you would probably guess, you being a white, straight, male Christian, you are enemy number one within your own country.
Absolutely. I'm surprised they haven't put me in a camp yet.
I'm surprised too. In fact, like, I kind of feel like, and I've spoken with this with a lot of my kind of awake friends. It's like, okay, now it kind of seems like a race to be as outspoken and based as possible so that you get the best space at the prison camp. Like me, like, I'm kind of in a race to be top bitch at a prison camp.
It's weird because the other side, they're always accusing us of things that they're actually doing.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's exactly kind of the satanic script, right? It's like,
absolutely.
Just invert everything.
I remember because I live in the socialist state of New York, and when COVID was going on, they were talking about building camps up in Newburgh, New York. And there was a bill that was going through the legislature where they were going to fund money and build these camps in New York. And they had to pull it because some people actually don't like the idea of going into camps. And these are people who would not be vaccinated. So if you weren't vaccinated, they were going to stick you in a camp. So it's the same thing like the socialist Nazis did. They were just putting people in camp. So yeah, they're all evil. They're wicked. I read the Bible. I look out the window, and the Bible's true. It's the Bible's clear on how things are going to be. People are going to be lovers of themselves. They're going to hate God. They're going to worship the creation and not the creator. And that's what's going on right now. So the world needs a savior. And I very much hope that our country repents and turns back to God. Short of that, yeah, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think regardless of anything, it's just going to get worse. And yeah, it really is time for repentance. But something that I have noticed just kind of like lurking around conspiracy circles for, I don't know, gosh, online as far as that goes, like for, I don't know, 6-7 years, is I am seeing a lot of people previously who rejected Christianity really turning to Christ now. It's almost like things have to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's like, okay, last resort, I'm turning to Christ.
Good.
Yeah, it really is. It really is good. Well, I would say that is a wrap for Conspiracy Corner. And I thank you so much for being so open and honest about your feelings on this. I absolutely agree with you, but that was so heavy. I think it's time to lighten it up a little bit.
Got me all riled up now.
Oh, you know what? It may work for the Flip City branded segment because we have got okay Boomer, if you can bring that up, Cosmic. So all right, we had a little stinger song there. So okay Boomer, I wanted to keep it light because I knew where we were going with Conspiracy Corner today. So I wanted to bring it back and have a little laugh with you. Okay Boomer is literally a 6-panel piece. It's meant to just make us laugh. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a slide for each panel. It starts with the Boomer. You're going to play the Boomer. Then it goes to the kid, back and forth, round robin. So 6 slides. Got it?
I think so. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm not a boomer, but go ahead.
No, you are a boomer.
I'm a Gen Xer.
I am too. Go on. Oh, are you looking at the screen now?
I am.
Okay, this is you.
Oh, it doesn't look anything like me. Okay.
So you get to read.
You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, basically you're gonna read the comic book and you're gonna portray this character and she's gonna portray the other character.
Oh, all right. Okay. So
you're gonna do a reading.
Okay. And I'm supposed to be in character?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, silly voices are encouraged. I forgot to tell you.
I had no idea I was going to do this tonight.
That's fine. It's fine.
Okay. To observe proper safety, always use caution when combining substances to avoid dangerous chemical reactions.
Okay, Boomer.
Does that mean too?
Remember?
Yeah.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Okay, Boomer.
This is me again?
Yeah.
In the near future, humans will be able to unload their brains to a computer, but scientists warn that process is extremely risky.
Okay, Boomer. And that does it for Okay, Boomer. Al, that was fantastic.
I like the artwork, by the way. That artwork was really cool.
Yeah, that is by our guy, Daryl Collins, who had a decent career designing, what do you call it? Greeting cards.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a greeting cards guy. But oh man, that guy, we occasionally interview our artists, our contributors for the magazine. And when I interviewed him, he hates Fauci. Oh, he hates Fauci.
Well, he should.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's something we're really proud to have been able to do with Flip City is be able to find and cultivate or attract artists that want to use their skill to actually push back on the satanic overlords, the wannabe tyrants and their woke, useful minions and all that. So that's what we do with the magazine. And to date, I think we've published about 27 different people that, want to work with us.
I think that's great. Yeah, it's just a weird time. I hope people aren't afraid to speak out.
They're getting less and less afraid, and more people are speaking out. Are you familiar with Earthworm Jim creator Doug TenNapel?
I am.
Man, I love him. I wish he was on our platform here. And if you know him well, we would love to connect.
I don't know Doug well. I think we communicated a few times via email. I did remember mailing him a copy of the Sword of Eden graphic novel. I like Doug. He seems like a nice enough fella. Yeah.
He is very much in line with you and I and Christy Mack here. And we all kind of have the same thought process. And I appreciate everything you said today in our show.
Thank you.
Really, I'm with you 100%.
All right, great.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I actually would really love to go overtime with you. You said you had some time today, Al, and also I'm relying on our wonderful disembodied voice Cosmic Grandpa to give us another maybe 30 minutes to drop YouTube. But I'm gonna officially end the stream for everybody over on YouTube. And Al, can you stick around for a bit and we can have more conversation?
Yeah, I'd just like to plug my book.
Oh yeah. Well, that we're going there. We're going there. But go ahead, plug your book.
All right. Yes. So if anyone would like to order a copy of the Sword of Eden graphic novel, go to theswordofeden.com. So I have links to purchase the book through eBay or Amazon or my online store. There's some videos there too with interviews that I've done as well. And also if any retailers that are interested in carrying the Sword of Eden, they can contact me through the website. Yeah, and I have links to my Facebook page and LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter, even though I've been banned from Twitter. So yeah, check out theswordofeden.com.
And we have that link in the description of the videos. So anybody that is watching this after the live, also you can just link straight through to swordofeden.com by clicking the link down there. And that was part of my thank you and goodbye, was asking where people can find and support you. Best way is to go to your website because everything's there, right?
Yep, theswordofeden.com.
All right, awesome. And of course, I'd be remiss without saying Creative Chaos is brought to you by Flip City Magazine. If you are interested in basically flipping the bird to the man, you can't get any better than Flip City Magazine. You can go to flipcitymag.com and pick that up with any purchase of any past issue. You can also get yourself your own very super sweet and cute tinfoil hat to keep you protected while reading it. I would like to thank my producer, Cosmic Grandpa, and Batman. And Batman, you and Cosmic do a show together. Tell everybody where to find that.
So yeah, Cozy AF with 3 Beermen is every Sunday night here on the Pilled Foxhole app. You can find us at 3, the number 3, beermen.tv. That's BEERMEN.tv. Come hang out with us Sunday nights, 7 p.m. Big Apple time, 4 o'clock avocado time. Or is it 3 o'clock avocado? 4 o'clock avocado time.
If it's 7 East?
7 East.
Okay, so
4
yeah,
West.
3 avocado. Yeah, you've got it. And then anybody that happens to be out there in the chat, please like, share, and subscribe this show. We really are focused on kind of providing solutions to the crappy mainstream by bringing people that are creating awesome stuff outside of the mainstream. We think it's super cool. We hope you think it's super cool. So like, share, and subscribe wherever you are watching this. And finally, I'd love to thank Anger Bang for being my house band. We're going to close out the show over on YouTube by playing their latest video. And if you'd like to join us on our alternate platforms, you can find us streaming on Pilled, Rumble, and Odyssey, where we won't be dropping the stream and have a little after party here with Al. So Cosmic, go ahead and play that, and we'll have an intermission and see you guys on the flip side.
Woo! Y'all know who it be. Rolling up on the scene. Yeah. It's Brad Allen. It's Brad Allen. Check it. I'm just a normal man. don't really have a plan. I do my best, then I throw caution straight through the wind. Don't get it twisted, friend, Brad Wilson. Like Shawn Michaels, make sweet music with your chin, check it. No, I'm not hot-headed, but you can get deaded. You want the smoke? Come and get it, this is unleaded. I got the gas for the fire, the igniter. On a mission, I'm fixing to fight till time expires. It's twisted that you think it's safe enough to attack a Christian. Well, no more tolerance for those who try to sow division. I am sick of it, you better quit. You gon' learn a lesson quick. You don't want us flipping tables, grabbing whips like Jesus did. Flipping on this track, snap back and then attack. Y'all don't want us as your enemy, and that's just straight up fact. I roll like Brett the Hitman Hart when I am on the mat. You would probably do the same if you knew where mankind was at. This life is getting crazy, son, clown world in full effect. Men think that they can now get pregnant.
Are you sure about that?
Y'all can't see me like I'm John Cena. Turn you into a believer. People say that I'm so cool. Well, baby, let me crack a beer. Woo! Y'all know who it be. Rolling up on the scene. Yeah. It's Brad Allen. B.A. It's Brad Allen, check it. I'm just a simple guy, ain't got no alibi for being ugly, but for being old, I'm pretty spry. I'm God, I'ma keep this hit until the day I die. Stomping on the hornet's nest, what a time to be alive. It's Brad, I'm back, I am a Chad, a man who's rad, flying off the beaten path. They call my shaft the golden staff. I call my Hulk, cause you know that Hulk smash. I'm a little crazy, mixed with a little psychotic. Y'all can't stop it, I'm an honest alcoholic that is solid, standing firm on my own 2 feet, seek and destroy. We don't retreat, so let the bodies hit the freaking floor. The globalists struck first, second, third, and fourth. So many times that I've lost count, there's no more ignoring this word. They attack on all fronts, man, they even hit the nerds. See them freaking out online, they changing their characters to girls or worse. Word on the street, the comic geeks have not been heard. So young Ripper came in, made 3 mil, then flipped the woke the bird. We can beat the communists, the activists with fingertips. This information war is ours. P.S. John Cena is a bitch.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, bro, like 100%. Woo! Y'all know who it be. Rolling up on the scene. Yeah. It's Brad Allen. B.A. It's Brad Allen, check it. I was a peaceful dude, sleeping like the average fool. But then I woke up and I know that I can't hit the snooze. We didn't start this war, the deep state did. Y'all struck first and now we gotta finish it.
Batman in your loud mouth talking over
It's okay.
me.
He was muted.
Oh, he was?
On this end.
Hey, cause dude, you are like the freaking best producer in the entire world. Mutant Batman in his big mouth. And of course I kid. I love you.
Thank you.
Hey, so anybody that's sticking around over on the Foxhole, Rumble, or Odyssey, thank you for hanging out with us in our after party.